Hey, this video is going to be long, so you probably want to grab a snack and maybe some coffee or a glass of wine or something. It's a full get ready with me. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Welcome to my channel, and here we go. I'm starting with some setting spray. I've already moisturized. Shaking this up. This is the L'Oreal Infallible setting spray. And I'll leave all the items that I used in the description box down below. So I'm shaking it up and I'm squirting more than you're supposed to. Typically tells you to do, let's see what it says, 4 to 8. But it tells you to do it after. I do it before and after. And I just do that to dry it down a tiny bit. And then I'm going to go in with my Urban Decay Primer Potion in Anti-Aging. And a little bit on this lid. And I'm starting with my lids. I'm not doing anything that's going to have a crazy amount of fallout. But it's just a habit that I got into. I typically do my eyes before my my face. And that's that. And also what I'll do, I use this. This is the Pure Hydrogel Lift. It's just a little kind of balm. And I've done under eye moisturizer, but this is really nice. And I like to put this on before I start doing my eyes. So it has some time to kind of set in and sink in. Not set in, but sink in. Don't want it setting in, we want it sinking in. Okay, I'm going to go in on my lid with my NYX Jumbo Pencil and Milk, just to give myself more, whatever I lay down on top of it's going to have more color, because it's not competing with the color of my lids. I mix this up sometimes, but this is what I'm using for this particular look. So there we are. All right. Then I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette. And I'm going to use, this is a Morphe E22 brush. And I'm going to go in with this color up here, up there, to go into my crease, just to blend more there. Don't always take quite as much time layering colors, but I'm going to do this tonight. Then I'm going to go in with, I'll go in with this middle color, same brush, and just deepening it a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with a smaller brush. This is the Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush. And I'm going to go in with a darker color. I'll go in with this, this color here. I don't know what these are called. The names are on the back, but it's hard to, I guess that's Solace. And I can actually tell you what the colors are. They're not printed here, so it's kind of harder to know. So with this, I'm just going in with the finer point, and I'm going in actually where my crease is. And what I do is I lay down color on one lid, and then I don't add any more to the brush. I just bring it back onto the other lid, because I don't want to lay down too much color. I mostly want to put down a small amount and then blend it. And that's blended pretty well. I'm going to go back in with the brush that I started with, this Morphe brush, and I'm just going to blend it all kind of together. All right. Then I'm going to go in with Steal a Kitten. This is a really nice shimmery champagne-y kind of color. And there are a lot of Stila palettes that you can get this in. I just happened to get the individual. And I'm using a flat, this is a Morphe M205 brush. And picking up color, and I'm going to kind of knock it off. And I'm kind of pressing this down. I'm not really rubbing it. So pretty and shimmery. This is a good color for the corner if you're just doing a really kind of tamed, kind of subdued look. But this color is so pretty. I don't use it often enough, so I figured I'd just give it all the real estate that I could. All right. And then I'm going to just go in with this brush one last time. This is the same blending brush that I started with. Just to kind of neaten this up a little bit. And that's it. I'm not doing anything in my outer V, not doing anything else in my inner corner. So that's it for eyeshadow. I'm now going to go in. This is a Morphe M250. This is a really fine pointed eyeliner brush. And I'm going in with my Inglot AMC 77 liner. And I am picking liner up from the pot. And then I'm coming into the lid and just mushing it around because I want to get that eyeliner evenly distributed. And I'm going to start with my wing. I'm starting at the edge of my eyelash, going up kind of in a line towards the end of my eyebrow. And I'll come in and clean this up when I'm done. That's a good start for my flick, and I'm going to come back into the cap, pick up some more. And then I'm starting on my lid. And I'm giving myself some space here. I'm drawing the line up. And then I'm going to come in and color it in. And clean it up over here. And I always go in when I'm done curling my lashes and clean it up a little bit more. So I'm not going to worry about that now. Then I will come in with the Q-tip, and this is one of those pointed Q-tips. Not the one in the blue box, but the one in the pink box that gives you just a little finer point. And some micellar water. And I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. All right, and I'm going to speed you through the next eye. All right, so those are eyes. Now face. I'm going to start with my Professional. I typically use the Hourglass during the day. The Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer, but there is an SPF in it, and it's not like I'm going to the club or anything where I'm going to be having flash photography, but just no reason to be using an SPF at night. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing this in instead of like a rubbing. I'll let that sit just for a second. I'll go in with my under eyes first. I'm going in with Smashbox. This is a Smashbox color correcting stick. My allergies are really bad. This is Look Less Tired Light. And I'm coming in just to put some peach down here. It's kind of a peachy pink. Yeah, I feel like my under eyes are so dark these days. between not getting enough sleep and allergies and stuff. This is a Morphe blending sponge. There are lots of blending sponges on the market. The Beauty Blender, and I'm just bouncing, is kind of the OG. But there are a lot of other models and different. The Beauty Blender shape is like a teardrop shape, and there are lots of other brands that have different shapes. So I'm experimenting with different ones. I like this one a lot. This is good for kind of bouncing foundation, which I'll do in just a second. But yeah, the trick with anything, I think, is to find what you like and use that. And I like the Hourglass. Oh, my eyes. What is this? It'll be the Vanish foundation. It'll all be in the description box down below. This is an ivory. So painting stripes on myself, and I'm gonna blend this in. And just bouncing. I have bangs, so I don't blend necessarily all the way up to my hairline. If you don't have bangs, you want to be pulling your hair back and blending. So I'm just bouncing all around. Blending, blending. And I'm bringing it down to my my chin and a little bit, tiny bit down my neck. And then I'll go in. Actually, before I go in with concealer, I'm going to use this. This is awesome. This is, I don't think I have enough volume in my lashes. Just don't have a lot of lash there. And this is the Benefit came up with a whole bunch of different brow products this year. And this is the Bravo conditioning primer. And I like to come in with this and with other brow products after I've done foundation, because I bring foundation up on the top of my lashes. And I'm just kind of combing this. I don't know if you can see. I'll do this one first, and I think you'll be able to see the difference. But yeah, it just gives me a lot more volume. And then I'll come in when this is dried down a little bit. You see the difference? With, without. Without. I'll come in when this is dried down a tiny bit and put in some pencil. Yeah, this is a big, kind of like a game changer product for me. Just gives me volume where I didn't have it before. Tarte Shape Tape in Light. And I'm not going to use too much of this. Just a few little dots. The color correcting does a lot for me. And bouncing, bouncing, being very gentle. And then what I'm going to do, I don't freak anybody out, but my under eyes have been really just freaking out. Sometimes when seasons change, I hope that you're not thinking of the Exposé song right now like I am. Sorry about that. Sometimes when seasons change, my under eyes get kind of crazy because they're usually fairly moist, not dry. But in this time of year, they tend to get a little bit dry. So I'm going to bake this, and I'm taking kind of the more pointed end of the sponge. And this is RCMA No Color Powder. There are a lot of other powders that you can use. You don't have to do this. But I'm just finding the Tarte, this is the concealer that I used. This is amazing. And this settles into my lines a lot less than anything else does. But I just really like the effect that I get when I bake with this. So I'm just gonna again bounce this to make sure that really everything is settled in. Then I'm gonna lay down some powder, and I'm gonna let this bake. And what baking is a technique where you put powder on your on anything. A lot of people will do it on blush or on bronzer or on contour. I really only ever do it on my under eyes because I find that if I can do that before the lines start to settle in, then I've kind of put that on pause, which is good. So I'm gonna let that kind of hang out for a while. The principle behind it is that it's the heat of your skin that's baking. That's why it's called baking, and it kind of makes it so it doesn't move. So I'll take a little time. I do this for maybe 5 minutes. So I'll start doing my brows. I'll do one brow and then I'll just speed up the other one. So what I like to do with my brows, you want to be kind of going up here, or you really don't want to be going in further. So kind of the side of your nose, and then kind of the side of your, like this kind of angle. Your natural brow is a pretty good, generally, unless you've had a bad wax or something, which I have had, where my natural brow did not extend as far. You can kind of see there it's a little bit bald, but yeah, I'm just coloring in. This is the Benefit Precisely My Brow, and I know it's a number 6. It's the darkest color. And I'm just kind of following my natural brow. I do like to give myself sometimes a little bit of an arch. It's not my natural arch. You can kind of see that it's going beyond where my natural brow is. And then bringing it down and then kind of coloring it in. And then I'll brush it so it's a little bit less stark. And then I'll go in with, this is another Benefit product. This is 3D Brow Tones. It's a nice, it's not really a highlight, but I feel like it gives me more dimension than, brow struggle is real. When you just don't have, and I don't think I know I had thicker brows in high school, but I don't think I ever went through a period where I over tweezed. I just don't know. I need to maybe go back and look at old pictures of myself and kind of trace the history of my brows. It's really pathetic when I look at pictures of myself in high school. This is another Benefit. This is High Brow. They've always had this, but the packaging is different now. I'm going to go in underneath here and just clean it up a little bit. But yeah, I didn't discover brows, tweezers. I didn't discover anything to do with my brows until after high school. So the pictures that I have from high school of my brows are terrifying. Okay, that's one. I'll go and do the other one and speed it up. All right, brows are done, and they're not perfectly symmetrical, which is totally fine. I need to remind myself and remind you that your brows are supposed to be sisters, not twins. Being symmetrical is good, but it's not totally, completely imperative all the time. So sisters, not twins is the goal. Okay, I'm also trying to do things to avoid my under eyes right now. I'm going to do some contour. So this is NYX Taupe, really good color, especially if you're pale like me. And I'm going in with, this is a Real Techniques, I think it's a contour brush. Yep, the contour brush. And I'm gonna go in, just swirling and tapping. I'm gonna go in, starting up at my hairline, and I'm going to bring into the hollows of my cheeks. And I'm stopping right about here. I'm not really going on. Some people will go to their pupil. I generally go just to the edge of my eye. I don't go too far in. And what you're trying to do when you contour is create a natural shadow. It's hard to tell here because it's night and I have artificial light here, but I can see that there's more of a hollow here than there is on this side. And I don't do it too dramatically, just a little bit. This is a nice, cool, almost cool neutral. It's not really even cool. But it's a really nice taupey shade, which is good. And then instant facelift and chin tuck. And then if I ever go too ham with this, I go in again with a dampened beauty sponge and I'll just kind of blend. I haven't really gone ham tonight, but it's nice to be able to have that as an option. It's another reason why I sometimes really prefer using a beauty sponge to using a brush, because it's easier to go in and kind of move things around. For blush, I'm going to use Tarte Exposed. It's a really nice neutral kind of color. And I do tend to go a little overboard sometimes with blush, and with this, it's really hard to do it. This is a really lovely Besame brush. They came out with some blush brushes before. So just swirling and tapping and coming up on the apples of my cheeks, and I'm avoiding the bake area. And then swirling and tapping up here. And I will do some highlight. I'm going to use, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronzing Glow. This is so lovely. The packaging is lovely. The products are lovely. And I'll use the highlighter from here. I find that the highlighter brushes that work the best on me are fan brushes. There are some that are more, not really like a contour brush, but are more tulip shaped and less kind of fan shaped. And I feel like I just go less. This is not an intense highlighter. This is a very mild highlighter. But with something a lot more bright, especially, I go in with this brush. I feel like I have more control, and it's easier for me to not go crazy. So I'm trying to find really the highest point on my cheekbone, kind of where the sun would be hitting me, and just go like that. And kind of see a little bit. Very subtle. I like this highlighter a lot. And then down the center of my nose. And that is that. I'm almost ready to wipe off the bake. I'm going to go in first though with, this is from the Estee Edit. This is the, it's a dual-ended pencil. One's brown, which I really haven't used, but this nude one's amazing. Look at the difference between my under eyes. So I'm putting it on this eye. And it just goes on so smoothly. There are a lot of these kinds of pencils that you have to just keep going over and over again, but the color's right there, and I already look, I think, more awake on this eye. And then the other one. Okay, now I'll wipe off the bake. Going in with a, this is fancy. This is my Wayne Goss #2. I got this in my lucky bag, my Beautylish lucky bag this year. And oh my God, it's like a bunny or a kitty. And I will try at some point to show you the difference between baking and non-baking on me. But I normally really have these kind of, not, I mean, I think they're deep set. I'm sure nobody else does. But these lines beneath my eyes. And with the, with baking, it just doesn't ever happen. It's pretty awesome. All right, lashes. I'm going to do full-monty today and do false lashes. It's crazy. So first I'm going to curl, and I'm just going to do one of these. Again, talking you through it, and then I'll speed through the other one. So I've curled it, and I'm going to go in with my Benefit Roller Lash and just give myself a little bit of mascara. I tend to use lashes that I maybe reuse them once, but I don't reuse them often. If you're going to reuse lashes, you don't want to put mascara on afterwards. I'll see how they look when I have them on. I am terrible at putting on lashes. I'm using the eyelure lengthening. I like these because they're fairly natural looking and the band isn't too thick. But I'm terrible at putting them on. So this is what I do. I prefer lashes that are kind of like the half lash. So I'm going to cut these. And so I'm just taking off this eye. And they typically come like this so you can see which is for your right, which is for your left. And I'm not even going to measure it because I know how far. I tend to have my lashes begin maybe 2/3 of the way or 1/3 of the way in, I guess. And then what I do is just make sure that they're even. So this is the part that I'm not using. This is the part that I am using. So not very much of it. I'm gonna bend it a little bit. And then this is genius. This is, I got this at Sephora. I think it's called the Target or the Bullseye maybe. It just makes things so much easier. So I'm holding my lashes in here and I'm going in with, not with my lipstick, that wouldn't be good. Any lash glue is good. This is the velour lashes in black. But Ardell and any of the ones from the drugstore are totally fine. There's a smell on the, is it Ardell or is it Andrea or, so it smells kind of just not good. And it's totally fine and safe and everybody uses it, but it just kind of wigs me out. So I don't use lashes that often. So yeah, so I'm just going to let this go for like a minute until it gets tacky. I'll speed through this. All right, now I'm ready. So I'm gonna come in and position this as close to my lash line as possible, she says. I'm just picking it up with my fingers now. And going in as close as possible. And catastrophe. It's all fixable. I'll get to that in a second. All right. Gotta commit. You've got to commit. Kind of like with a winged eyeliner. You just gotta go in. Just have to go in and do it. And not worry about, it's just makeup, right? And I'm going to go in with the other side. Any tweezers are good for this, but just to be able to kind of press it down. See? Catastrophe averted. Not a big deal. Pressing that down, letting it sit. All right, and then I'm going to clean this bit up a little bit. This is some of the glue. I do think sometimes that might be better if I use clear lash glue, like the white stuff that dries down to clear, but I don't. Just use this. This is micellar water because this has not really dried down yet. And then I'm just going to come in. What am I going to use? I'll use some more of just my Tarte Shape Tape, just to kind of, because it looks like my skin right now. And I'm just going to go in. It's probably a little bit too much. Take it off. I'm just kind of patting it in. And I'll use a flat eyeshadow brush just to kind of blend it. Crisis averted. If I can do eyelashes, anybody honestly can do eyelashes. So that's when I'll do the other one. I'll fast forward you through it so you'll see if there's any other catastrophe, but I'll fast forward you through it so you don't have to watch it. And what I'm going to do is compare kind of the remainder that I have left to this one. In fact, I'll do this with you watching. So this is what I'm letting go of, the part on the inside. And I'm just cutting it so that the part that's left over, trust me that that's what I'm doing down here, is the same. And So this is what I'm going to use. And these are the other two kind of remaining bits. And they are the same size. All right. Cross my fingers, hold my breath. I'll see you on the other side. Wish me luck. Not bad for not knowing at all what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm not going to go in with more mascara because these are pretty long. Yeah, seriously, if I can do it, you can do it. And this is also good to practice with before you go to bed because you can always take it off. I'm going to go in with some setting powder. This is my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder. And lipstick. I'm going to use red naturally. This is a ColourPop liner, and oh my god, I don't see what color it is. My eyes, my old eyes, but it's a red. I don't remember which one it is. I sharpened it, very, very sharp. I'm going to go through here. I'll be able to find what color this is under better light, and I'll put it in the description box below. And I'm just lining. A big tip with red lipstick. Don't talk while you're putting it on. But use a good balm at night. I use the Bite Agave. Really, really good. So do a full line. Yeah, balm at night, just especially in the winter when everything is so dry, makes your lip. My camera stopped recording. So that was liner, and then this is one of the Makeup Geek lipsticks. This is in Feisty. It's a nice matte red. And I'm going over here. Yeah, and having putting a good balm down at night just gives you a better surface during the day. All right, I'm done. Just gonna shake up my finishing spray again, my setting spray, and give myself some liberal squirts. And I'm not gonna fan myself in the end because I don't really need that quickness, but that's it. I will fan myself because it's just hanging out there. Thank you for watching. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you soon. Have a nice day or night or whenever it is that you're watching this. Bye.